Okay. There's more report about this meeting between Kaja Kallas and Wang Yi. You're going to love it.
Right. Okay.
So even like a Brussels diplomatic circle now is floating the sentence like one of the, I think you talked about that last time, like
Yeah.
one of the most experienced and professional diplomats in the world met the most incompetent and amateur diplomats in the world. So that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kayas, she prepared, or her staff prepared like 37 pages of basically China wrongdoings. That's what she prepared. Okay. And they're trying to lecture China. So she started, and there were 7 areas that she covered. So starting with China supporting Russia. Okay, they kept on saying this, and they're trying to force, basically put pressure on Wang Yi, saying you should stop supporting Russia. And Wang Yi brought up the Treaty of Lisbon in 2009, and Wang Yi said the whole Treaty of Lisbon, the idea is to have an independent European foreign policy. And your position, the High Representative of Union for the Foreign Affairs and the Security Policy, was established back then in 2009. And now you're telling me that I have to take sides. That's very hypocritical. Okay. And and then she brought the drones, like you were selling so much drones and drone parts, to Russia. And Wang Yi brought up the figure from the Chinese customs, the exporting of different drone parts apparently is in short supply now because so many countries are making their own drones and they're all buying parts from China. So this year, from January to June, the drone parts exporting to EU increased to 22%. And the increase to Russia is 0. Okay?
Yeah.
So if China is prioritized, because there is a short supply, is prioritized, why China's prioritized EU? Okay. And that's apparently something when Wang Yi presented that number, Kaja Kallas was a little bit in the panic mode or something. She tipped her coffee mug, and the coffee spilled out, and Wang Yi got a little bit of stain on his cuff. So that's the drama there. And of course, she always bring up the human rights and blah blah. And Wang Yi didn't even bring all the human rights violations. She just said, well, as late as recently, French police cracked down on demonstrators, hurting. There 127 people were injured, and you, the EU, said nothing, absolutely nothing. So you're not in position to lecture me anything about human rights. So she got quiet. As you can see, the EU actually needs China's rare earth, and apparently, according to the German media, van der Leyen also would like China to support EU's Digital Service Act to counter US. So EU actually needs a lot of support from China. And yet she was actually demanding China this and this and this. And then she brought out a list saying that if you don't do this, 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 we are going to sanction 27 Chinese companies. And to that, Wang Yi brought up saying that in 2020, China and the Europe, EU, signed a comprehensive agreement on investment. And there it clearly stated trade and economic issues should not be used as a weapon, should not be politicized. So you see everything she's bringing up, and Wang Yi was well prepared and countered. So in
Yeah.
the end, she softened her tone a little bit and saying we should continue our dialogue, EU-China trade dialogue or whatever. And she also said, let's take a picture. And Wang Yi said, yes, we can take a picture, but you can delete your 27 companies sanction list first from your phone.
Wow. Wow. I'm not surprised it lasted 4 hours. What can I say? I mean, I obviously Kaja Kallas. We've all known about her, but this is off the scale. I mean, this is madness. I mean, it's absolute madness.
Well, after
I mean,
that, the German foreign minister actually met Wang Yi immediately and made it clear that Germany is against weaponizing EU-China relations. So basically,
yeah,
even the Germans are undercut her. So within EU, not everybody agrees with her. This
no.
kind of a strategy against China, I guess, if she has a strategy. It's just bad, I think. Why is she the foreign minister?
Well, why indeed? I mean, there was an article in one of the magazines saying that she's an absolute disaster and must go. What do you say? I mean, it astonishes me. I mean, first of all, no country should ever lecture another. There are exceptions. There are some situations where you have to do that, but I mean, it should be extremely, extremely rare when that does happen. Secondly, you should certainly not lecture China. I mean, that ought to be the first. That is one of the key laws of diplomacy, and you should absolutely, under no circumstances, try to lecture Wang Yi. I mean, that is idiocy. That is complete stupidity. What was it you said? One of the most accomplished and professional diplomats in the world, and one of the most experienced ones as well. The
Mhm.
idea that you could try this kind of trick on him is just ludicrous.
What I find stunning is that she clearly wasn't preparing for this meeting well. If she was going to pressure on Wang Yi and China, she should prepare better. I mean, at least understand what this Treaty of Lisbon really means, right? When Wang Yi bring it up, it's not like a totally shock to her, to the degree that she tipped her coffee mug. It's so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, it's totally amateurish. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, first of all, I mean, a 37-page document like that. I presume she didn't share it with Wang Yi before they met.
No.
I mean, it's like a sort of out of a bad crime drama law story. I mean, where were you? The lawyer comes in with all of these papers and says, and here, we have all of this. I mean, it's just ridiculous. By the way, even that doesn't happen in real life. But I mean, if it does, I mean, you can imagine what utterly incompetent of a lawyer you are. I mean, what is she trying to do? I mean,
Exactly.
was she thinking that she would persuade Wang Yi to change his stance? China to change its stance? Did she think that Wang Yi would say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go back to Xi Jinping, and we're going to talk about all of this, and we'll have a meeting in Beijing, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate all of this." I mean, it's crazy. I mean, diplomacy is about getting to know and understand the other person, about building up trust,
Mhm.
about working to find common ground, about isolating the areas of disagreement, about talking intelligently about the areas of disagreement. I mean, trying to put the foreign minister of China on the spot. I mean, it's idiocy. It's stupidity beyond anything I can imagine. And I mean, what they must be thinking about this in China, I can't even begin to imagine.
I think they should call for her resignation. She clearly is not qualified to do this job, right? She's fully
No,
prepared. I mean, what do they do with this 37 pages other than bad mouth and bashing China? There is no like a negotiation, like a what
no,
should we come to agreement, right? What should we cooperate and what should we work together? There's nothing there. It just
no.
you China are bad on all this front, and if you don't do this, we're going to sanction you. It's just a bully. It's
Well, it's a bully that I mean, I mean that's where it gets even more stupid because I mean the EU is in no position to bully China anyway, as a properly briefed and professional EU High Representative would know. I mean, the idea of the EU bullying China is absurd.
Mhm.
It's, I mean, so, I mean, I mean, you shouldn't even be thinking in those terms, let alone trying to. I mean, this is absurd.
Yeah. And it's
Right.
interesting that actually German's foreign minister is much more reasonable afterwards.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether the fact that she comes from a small country, now finally she could come to the world stage, that become this heavyweight. She sees it that way. So make her even more emboldened or reckless in a way. I wonder.
Well, obviously, that's obviously the case. I mean, I ought to say something. I mean, the influence that the three Baltic countries have in
Mm,
European affairs has become incredibly alarming and very,
yeah,
very dangerous.
yeah.
And there's people who are joking in Germany, the German foreign policy has been basically taken over by these people, and the Germany is becoming Greater Estonia. And I mean, I've heard people say this. So, it's good to hear that the German foreign minister, who does come up from a significant country, understood that this went completely off the rails. Um, as I said, absolutely, they should insist that she step down. I mean, she's clearly wholly inadequate to her job, and she should never have been appointed to that role at all.